11 examples of gaslighting and what it really sounds like. Are you ready to dive into the intriguing world of psychological manipulation? Today we're going to tackle the complex and insidious phenomenon known as gaslighting. This term may sound familiar, but do you truly understand the depth of its toxicity? This eye-opening discussion will reveal 11 real-life examples of gaslighting and what it genuinely sounds like. Get ready to unmask these cunning tactics and arm yourself with the knowledge to recognize and combat gaslighting in your own life. Let's get started on this fascinating journey of self-awareness and empowerment. Before we dive in, if you're new here, please press that red button to subscribe to our channel and comment, "I've subscribed," so we can thank you. Example 11, twisting the truth. First, we've got twisting the truth. This gaslighting tactic is when someone takes your words and totally twists them around, making it seem like you're the one being unreasonable. Imagine you say, "Hey, you hurt my feelings," and they reply, "Well, you're just too sensitive." Hold up. That's not what we're talking about. Don't fall for this trick, guys. Stay strong and stand your ground. Twisting the truth can also involve someone taking something you said out of context to create a false narrative. They might pick apart your words, mainly focusing on a single phrase or term, and using that to build their own story that suits their agenda. This can be incredibly frustrating and make you question whether you're explaining yourself clearly enough. In some cases, the person might even create a completely fabricated version of the events to make themselves look better or discredit you. For instance, they might say, "You were the one who started the argument," when in reality, they were the instigator. This manipulation can be particularly damaging, as it can make you doubt your own memory and experiences. Another aspect of twisting the truth is when someone uses hypothetical situations to deflect from the actual issue. They might say things like, "Well, if you had done this, things would have been different." Or, "If you really cared about me, you would be making such a big deal out of this." By doing this, they're trying to shift the focus away from their actions and make you feel guilty or unreasonable. Example 10, denying. Now let's talk about the denying trick. This is when someone straight up pretends that they didn't say something or do something. It's when you confront them about the mean comment and their favorite response is, "I never said that, you're just making things up." Frustrating, right? If someone is trying to make you doubt your own memories, that's a red flag, my friends. Example 9, minimizing. Let's take a look at the minimizing tactic, where someone tries to downplay or dismiss your feelings. It's important to remember that your emotions are valid and that you have every right to feel the way you do. If someone is trying to make you feel like your emotions don't matter, that's a classic example of gaslighting. One way that people might minimize your feelings is by comparing your situation to something they perceive as worse. They might say things like, "At least you don't have to deal with what I'm going through," or, "You think that's bad? Let me tell you about my problems." This invalidates your emotions and makes it seem like you have no right to be upset. Minimizing can also involve using humor or sarcasm to dismiss your feelings. While laughter can sometimes lighten the mood, it's not okay to belittle your emotions and make you feel like your concerns aren't important. Another aspect of minimizing is when someone tries to convince you that your feelings are just a result of your own insecurities. They might say things like, "You're just being paranoid," or "You need to work on your self-esteem." By shifting the blame onto you, they're avoiding taking responsibility for their actions and undermining your emotions. Remember, it's not your fault if someone else is mistreating you or making you feel bad. Your feelings are valid, and you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. Example 8, using your words against you. Let's move on to number 8. It's the sneaky, using your words against you move. This is when someone uses something you've said in the past to make you look bad or undermine your feelings. For example, you might say, "I can't believe you lied to me." And they hit you back with, "But remember when you said we could all make mistakes? So why are you making such a big deal out of this?" Not cool at all. Keep an eye out for this one, folks. Example 7, the fake apology. Okay, let's talk about number 7, the fake apology. You know what I mean, right? It's when someone says they're sorry but doesn't actually take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they might say something like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," or "I'm sorry you got upset." Seriously, that's not a real apology. Be on the lookout for this manipulative move. Another aspect of a fake apology is when someone tries to shift the blame onto you. They might say, "Well, if you hadn't done X, I wouldn't have reacted that way." This way, they're not really apologizing for what they did. They're subtly trying to make it seem like it's your fault. A fake apology can also involve making excuses for their behavior instead of owning up to it. They might say things like, "I was just stressed out," or "I didn't mean it like that." While stress or misunderstandings can happen, it's still important for them to acknowledge the impact their actions had on you. And sometimes a fake apology can be followed by a but statement, like, I'm sorry, but you should know why I am now. This type of apology is not genuine, as it implies that you should accept their behavior and not hold them accountable for their actions. So guys, the key here is to recognize when an apology is genuine or not. A sincere apology involves acknowledging the mistake, taking responsibility, and making a real effort to change their behavior. Don't let someone get away with a fake apology and continue to manipulate your feelings. Stand strong, and know your worth. Example 6. Playing the victim. This is when someone tries to make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. They might say things like, you're always attacking me, or I can't do anything right. But wait a minute, this isn't about them. It's about how their actions affected you. Don't let them turn the situation around and make you feel bad for expressing your feelings. Stand firm and remember that you have the right to communicate how you feel without being made to feel guilty about it. Example 5. Silent treatment. Alright folks, let's talk about number 5. The infamous silent treatment. You know what I'm talking about. When someone gives you the cold shoulder or ignores you or punishes you for speaking up. They might leave you unread, not answer your calls, or just pretend you don't exist. This is another form of gaslighting because it's meant to make you feel guilty and question whether you were in the wrong. But don't fall for their manipulative tactics, guys. Remember that you have the right to express yourself and be heard, and you don't deserve to be treated this way. Example 4. Triangulation. Alright guys, let's move on to number 4, triangulation. This is when someone tries to pitch you against another person to create doubt or confusion. They might say things like, well, your best friend didn't have a problem with what I did, or your sister thinks you're overreacting. But hold on a minute, this isn't about them, it's about us. So don't let them drag other people into the mix to make you doubt yourself. Remember that you have the right to trust your own instincts and feelings without being influenced by others. Don't let anyone manipulate you through triangulation. Example 3. Projecting. Coming out at number 3, we have projecting. This is when someone accuses you of the very thing they're guilty of. Let's say they're the ones who have been lying, but when you confront them, they're like, oh, you're the one who's been lying this whole time. No, I don't think so. One way someone might project their own behavior onto you is by constantly questioning your motives or accusing you of having ulterior motives. They might say things like, you're just trying to make me look bad, or you always have an agenda. By doing this, they're deflecting from their own actions and trying to put you on the defensive. Another aspect of projecting is when someone tries to make you feel guilty for their emotions or reactions. They might blame you for their anger, saying things like, you made me yell at you, or you always push me to this point. This can be incredibly manipulative and make you feel like you're responsible for their behavior, when in reality, they're the ones who need to take responsibility for their actions. Keep your eyes peeled for this classic gaslighting move. Example 2. Discrediting. Alright folks, we've almost reached the end of our list with number 2. Discrediting. This is when someone tries to discredit you by making you seem irrational or unstable. They might say things like, you're just overreacting, or you're being too emotional. This is a manipulative tactic used to make you doubt your own thoughts and feelings. Remember, your emotions and experiences are valid, and no one has the right to make you feel otherwise. Don't let them undermine your credibility or make you feel crazy. Stand your ground and trust yourself. Example 1. Diverting the conversation. Now let's talk about the last one, diverting the conversation. This tactic is used when someone changes the topic or brings up unrelated issues to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. Imagine you're trying to talk about how they broke your trust. Then they suddenly bring up that time you were late to their party. How is that even related? Stay focused and don't let them derail the conversation. Diverting the conversation can be very subtle at times, making it even more challenging to detect. For instance, when you're trying to address a specific issue, the person might casually mention something that happened earlier in the day, or start talking about a completely unrelated event, like the latest episode of your favorite show. While this may seem innocent at first, this can be a calculated move to distract you from the original issue and prevent you from addressing their actions. Another way someone might divert the conversation is by focusing on your tone or choice of words rather than the issue at hand. They might say things like, why are you being so aggressive? Or, there's no need to use that kind of language. By doing this, they're trying to make you feel as if you're the one in the wrong and shift the focus away from their actions. It's also possible for someone to divert the conversation by playing dumb or pretending not to understand what you're talking about. They might respond with something like, I don't know what you're referring to, or I'm not sure what you mean by that. This can make you doubt yourself and wonder if you're not explaining things clearly enough. This can ultimately lead to you dropping the issue altogether. In conclusion, we've explored 11 gaslighting tactics that can help you identify and combat manipulation. It's essential to stay vigilant and foster healthier relationships. We'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences with gaslighting in the comments below, and let's create a supportive community where we can learn and grow together. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel for more empowering content and join the conversation in the comments. Let's stand against gaslighting together.